to the At Midnite Show. As you well know, our show only allows and interviews musicians, songwriters, record producers, arrangers. We're a music show, only music people. And tonight we have a very special guest, RoRo. RoRo is a young man and a new artist that was recently signed by the SnailWorx family. And tonight, RoRo is going to tell us a little bit about himself while he's in the midst of recording his new album. Good evening, Ro. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you.
Good.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. But let me ask you some questions. How long have you been doing this? You're obviously a younger guy, so I'm assuming that you've been doing this for quite a long time, considering that I have heard some of your material and so forth. So when did you start, writing songs and singing and so forth?
I would say that would definitely have to be around the age of 12. That's when I realized I wanted to make my own music. But before that, I was just singing all the time, you know. It's all about Disney, you know, whatever I could, you know, realize something sounded really pretty or ringed really nice. And that's what I wanted to hear and sing and, you know, run around.
Oh, interesting. So in other words, you've been doing this obviously for, since you said 12 years old, but I'm assuming that you were in talent shows and things of that nature. Yes. That really kind of, you know, spurred you to get along here and, you know, gave you the incentive to continue on doing the music ideas and write songs and so forth, etc. But usually kids don't really, well, some do, really get the idea when they're at an early age. Now, you did some talent shows and things like that. So obviously you did those, what, in school or in college, or what were they, or just actually talent shows that happened to be in the area?
They were mainly every single talent show in school. You know, that's the ones that's where I excelled. You know, in school.
Well, I can imagine that. But that's great that you did excel in school, and that's a good thing. But so I understand that you've worked several clubs in the Southern California area with other people on stage. Obviously, you were not the star of the show, but mainly as part of a guest. Mm-hmm. I take that. So, well, that's good experience, by the way, and that's important for an artist to get a taste of what it's like with a live audience. In your case, I'm sure that helped you and also gave you inspiration to write some of your songs. What are some of the titles of songs that you wrote?
Well, off of what we're working on, there's a song, which is the title of the CD, Doing It for Life.
Doing this thing for life, not for the moment. Doing this thing for life, not for the moment.
Which is a song about, you know, just this is what I want to do, and I'm going to keep doing it for life, you know?
Very good. Okay, so Doing It for Life, is that the title of the album?
That's what I want it to be, you know?
Okay, well, I guess that's up to W. Michael Lewis. You know, I have to deal with it sometime myself. Anyway, so, you know, but have you ever worked with any famous people or any of that nature or anything like that?
Well, I've had experience volunteering at a big, huge event in 2008 for Pride Festival, 2008, and I got to basically, you know, help Tiffany off the stage, and, you know, go backstage, and I met a very nice woman, Joan Jett in the Black Hearts. She seemed busy, like she had to go, but you know, a lot of great artists. I saw Sandra Bullock. She walked by and looked at me. I knew it was her, and she just looked at me and was like, you know.
Well, I can understand that, but I mean, well, it seems like you. That's a nice grouping of famous people that you've met there. But the whole idea, though, from what I get, you know, based on the title of your album that you just said to me, is it about your feelings, or is it about people or things that you want to do? What would you classify your work?
Well, I classify it as basically a lot of the songs on the CD are stating like it's coming, it's so close, I can feel it. I've this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Some songs are about love and, you know, experience in relationships, but I tried to make this specific CD more positive. And for example, like a love song that would be positive is like, it's actually called For Us, and it's basically saying, like, I don't want to fight, I don't want to argue, I just want to make it through, so let's make it work for us.
I don't want to fight, I don't want to argue, I just want to make it through.
So,
good, yeah.
Mostly try to stay on the positive side, no boo-hoo-hoo, because, you know, I can, but I try to be positive.
I can understand it, but do you play an instrument?
I can actually play piano, like on, you know, the synthesized, you know, computer, and pretty much with one piano keyboard I can make all kinds of sounds nowadays, you know.
Well, that's good. At least, you know, you're versatile enough at it. But, you know, from what I gather here, since you've been with people like that, and where did you go? I mean, what do you really see yourself as?
I tell a lot of people, they ask me, what is it that you want? And I tell them, if I could get a #1 hit single, I could say I could die happy.
We can all think about that. Getting a #1 single, that would be wonderful. I mean, you're on SnailWorx, which is a small label, and I'm imagining listening to some of your stuff earlier over in the green room before we started the show. You have a unique sound, and I predict that you'll go a long way. But you signed with SnailWorx. Was there a reason why you signed with SnailWorx?
Yes, most definitely. Because I like humble, more, you know, where I don't feel like I gotta meet all kinds of new different people. It's mainly feels more like a family, you know, more like they understand you, you understand them, and we get each other, you know?
Well, that's good. Yeah, well, SnailWorx is a small label, and they are internet savvy, and you can definitely track them down. They have a lot of artists on the label there. I've checked the website recently, and some very diverse material. Now, in your production, you know, how long does it take you to really conclude an album for yourself?
Well, because I am a workaholic when it comes to singing, I will stay in the studio if I have to 10 to 14 hours, as long as everybody's happy in the end of the session and we've done what we wanted to accomplish that time. It took me about 3 months. I did a CD, you know, so far it's been 13 tracks, and that took about 3 months.
Well, that's a reasonable amount of time going forward with that. I can see that. So anyway, so you're really excited, I take it, about this whole new direction that you're going, which was cool.
Thank you.
Okay, well anyway, so what I really want to know is that you foresee yourself in the future here as a recording artist. I mean, I know some of your favorite artists, so I think Mariah Carey is one of yours. Am I right about that? That's your most favorite artist. So you see yourself sort of like using her as an example, as that type of an act, dedicated, she's very dedicated to her performances and so forth. So I imagine you see yourself in that light. Is that right?
I mean, she's so amazing. Of course, I could never compare to Mariah herself, but I would definitely love to get somewhere, you know, in that region. And I feel like since she's so dedicated and she puts, you know, all her time and effort in doing these things, she gets, you know, this great, you know, outcome.
You don't work with a group instead, or you just use individual musicians or something else. That's something your producer arranges and gets that together.
For as far as what I've been used to is just, you know, making a beat and then going forth and singing and doing all the background vocals and all the layering, harmonizing myself. And you know, if somebody wants to collaborate, like Mariah,
then I hope so. For your sake, I hope so. So you really then really picture yourself as, you know, adding your own touches I mean, other than working with your producer, which you would do, but you're adding your own input to your own work, as I take it. In other words, you feel that you have a style that you are set on in your mind in the direction that you want to go. With the help of your producer, you would achieve that. Is that what you're attempting to do here?
Yes, most definitely, and only because it's what I have been doing, and that's how I feel like I've been developing myself for these years and years. I've been doing it just by learning from Mariah and other people like Kelly Clarkson, Christina Aguilera, and Mars, and those type of people, Chris Brown, and putting my own everything and put together.
Well, so what is your style?
It's R&B, I would say. R&B, adult hits type of, because it kind of, I like to have the old school feel a little bit, and also have the R&B hip hop style as well. It's like a cool combination,
Sounds good. Sounds good. Listening to your you have such a high pitched voice. Listening to that, I did pick up some of that feel. In the meantime, I just want to say that it's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm really looking forward to doing another interview with you when your CD is released and it's fully out. Love to have you and your producer maybe as a joint interview session. That would be really great for us. Well, Ro, I got a little surprise for you also too. Is that tonight we're going to just play a rough mix, thanks to your producer, of one of your songs. Now it's the one we picked. I think it was one that you liked the most. What was the title?
Doing It for Life.
Doing It for Life, ladies and gentlemen. RoRo, it's a rough mix, but it's Doing It for Life.
There comes a time in my life, stop to ask the reasons why. Situations bring you down. Hope is lost, no love around, but nothing's gonna stop me from getting to the top. I paid my dues as a fool. Now I call all the shots.